Hi class, it's Mr. Trez, and this video is going to be on the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. Our learning objective: the student will be able to show and explain whether a triangle is a right triangle by using the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. The objective will be met if the student receives a 100% on their Google Drawings assignment. Our essential question: how can you use the Pythagorean theorem to determine whether a triangle is a right triangle, given its three side lengths? So let's just review some key concepts of the Pythagorean theorem. First, it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, the Pythagorean theorem only works with right triangles. A and b are the legs. These are the shortest sides in the two straight lines that create the 90-degree right angle. So in our example, A and B represent the legs. These are the two straight lines that form our right angle. Then finally, C is our hypotenuse. This is the longest side and the side opposite the 90-degree right angle. So if our right angle is here, the side opposite is our hypotenuse, and it's also the longest side. So this side is longer. Okay, it has a bigger side length than the legs, A and B. If you reverse the parts of the Pythagorean theorem, you have formed its converse. So let's take a look at our statement. If a triangle is a right triangle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The converse of this would be if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. So we're going to go through two examples. Okay, so our directions state, determine whether each triangle with sides of given lengths is a right triangle. Justify your answer. So we have side lengths of 36 miles, 48 miles, and 60 miles. First thing that I want to do is I'm going to write down the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so now if a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, then the triangle will be a right triangle. So A and B represent the legs. These are the two shortest sides. So I have to look closely. And what are the two smallest sides that I'm given as side lengths? Well, one of them is 36, and we'll write that as squared, plus 48 squared is equal to the largest, longest side is 60. And that would be 60 squared. Now, you can use your calculator to simplify. So 36 squared, or 36 times 36, is 1,296, plus 48 squared, which is 48 times 48, which is 2,304. Okay, is this equal to 60 squared? 60 times 60 is 3,600. So now, let's continue to simplify, and let's take 1,296 plus 2,304, and that equals exactly 3,600, which is equal to our hypotenuse of 3,600. So a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So is this a right triangle? The answer is yes. And our justification is right here. And that's because when we took the squares of the legs, it equaled 3,600. And that was equal to the square of the hypotenuse, which is 3,600. Okay, so let's take a look at one more example. Again, the directions state, determine whether each triangle with sides of given lengths is a right triangle. Justify your answer. So first thing, let's write down our Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So A and B represent the legs, the shortest side. So I have to look closely at the side lengths. So we can see 16 and 56 are shorter than 65. So 16 and 56 are going to represent our legs. So for a squared, let's make that 16 squared plus b squared, which is 56 squared, is equal to our longest side, which is 65 squared. So now you can use your calculator, and 16 times 16 is 256, plus 56 squared, which is 3,136. And is that equal to 65 squared, which is 4,225. Okay, so let's continue to simplify. 256 plus 3,165 is equal to 3,421. Now that is not equal to 4,225. So as we can see here, the squares of our legs is not equal to the square of the hypotenuse. So is this a right triangle? The answer is no. And our justification for this is because 3,421 is not equal to 4,225. Okay, so the one thing you just have to be careful here is with your side lengths, you just don't want to go from left to right. You really want to look at them and say, okay, which ones are the legs, the two shortest sides? Okay, you just don't want to go from left to right. You want to say, this is the first shortest side, here's the second shortest side, and this is the longest side. This way, when you substitute, okay, you substitute properly. If you have any questions, please send me an email, and thank you for watching this video.